Welcome into the Monday morning edition of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. We are here on BettingPros.com. We're here wherever you get your audio podcasts and on YouTube as well. Always being brought to you by BetMGM. Bet $20 to win $100 on any event using that promo code JUICE100 at BetMGM on the BetMGM application. JUICE100, the promo code. All right, so I need to do a little explaining here, and this might get a little boring, but I just need to get this off my chest, okay? As to what just happened, we just finished up watching the Woodley and Paul fight. Paul wins by split decision. The fight goes the distance. I thought it might go the distance. It did go the distance. Probably should have made that play and left it alone. But instead, I took Woodley with a bet at plus 185 on the value. Now, on the Discord channel, on Twitter, I told you I punted out of this bet. Okay, it is not a play. It wasn't official. I punted out of it. I bet the other side, got my money back, and I was flat zero on the play. No play on the Woodley-Paul fight. Now you might go, wait, what, Matt? Well, look, this is why being in the Discord channel is, one, important, and two, following me on Twitter also is important. If you are going to trail my bets, I thought the distance might happen, but I also said, look, I thought Woodley could win it on the cards. A split decision, one judge agreed, the other two did not. I don't really think that on the cards. Personally, I think that was probably a 5-3 win for Jake Paul, but regardless, it was a bad fight, okay? Jake Paul is not a pro boxer. Can we all just say this out loud? He is not a professional boxer. If he fights a professional boxer, he's going to lose and lose quickly. If he fights a legitimate boxer in his weight class, he's going to lose quickly. The stamina, he doesn't have it. The output, he doesn't have it. The footwork, he doesn't have it, okay? He has eyeballs. That's what he has. He has people's attention. That's what he has. So he gets to fight on Showtime, on pay-per-view, and handpick his opponents. Aging MMA fighters who do not throw punches, who are not productive, who do not have high output. Their motors are nothing, okay? Tyron Woodley being involved in a boring fight is par for the course. That's how the majority of his fights went in the MMA world, okay? Low output, not productive. He's not someone who wants to get hit all that much anymore, okay? He had Jake Paul hurt, didn't jump on him. Different fighter may have jumped on him, may have pushed the pace, may have really tried to clean him out and get him out of there. Didn't happen. Some people are saying that it was fixed. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Woodley was a hand-picked opponent. And, well, the reason why I punted is the following. I have connections and people I interview on my radio show. I have bookmakers who I listen to and talk to. And at one particular book, I asked on Friday, on fight night, who are you going to need? And they told me that on fight night, they were going to need Tyron Woodley because the pro money and the money from the public had come in on Jake Paul and had driven their price up to minus 215. So I said, okay, let's do a value play. I respect this book a lot. They sponsor my radio show, and I believe them that they're going to tell me things that are on the up and up. They didn't lie to me. What they did was they didn't tell me the entire truth as to what they were pricing the fight at. Tonight, or last night, I got a tweet from a sportsbook person that stated, we put the price where we put it with anticipation of needing Jake Paul. They wanted money on Woodley. They wanted as much money on Woodley as possible. They were setting a trap. They laid a trap for the public, and they capitalized. A sportsbook's job is to take our money. That's the bottom line. That's their job, okay? So they're not being all nice and friendly and all nice and warm, but when I do ask a straight question, I'm asking for a reason because I want to know and I want to be on the side of the book. So come Saturday night, or Sunday night rather, what do you anticipate? Who do you think you're going to need? And the answer was, we anticipate needing Tyron Woodley by the time the fight goes off. Leaving out the part that they were going to price it to the point where people would go and bet them and bet Woodley because they laid a trap because they wanted to need Jake Paul. So come fight night, the book needed Jake Paul. So I got out of it. No play. Unofficial bet or official bet dead. Off the board. No count. Nothing. We just pulled it down. Because the information I'd given you guys saying I was doing a value play being on the side of the sports books because of what I had been told. So I learned a lesson. It's on me. It's my bad. If you aren't in the Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat to get in. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you've watched this before and you've heard me say that. If you're following me on Twitter, you also saw the tweet where I said, punt out of the bet. Cash out, bet the other side, whatever you got to do, get out of it. because I was no longer confident that the value play was Tyron Woodley. In fact, there probably was value shopping around and fighting Jake Paul somewhere in the neighborhood of like minus 180, minus 175. The value was on Paul, not Woodley. So I had to scramble, and so we got out of the bet. If you bet the distance, you cash, that's great. If you bet Jake Paul by decision, you got a plus 600, that's great. Fight was bad. End of the day, the fight was bad. And the shine now is off of Jake Paul, thank goodness. At the end of the day, the conversation about whether or not Jake Paul is a professional fighter, no matter how much Showtime's broadcasters tried to spin it, give Al Bernstein a lot of credit. Okay, Al Bernstein was not going to shovel baloney down people's throats. He was telling the truth, okay? Just saying, well, listen to what Al Bernstein wasn't saying when he was being asked questions about the skill level of Jake Paul. Okay, he was being as cordial as he could, knowing his employer is going to be in bed with Jake Paul for a long time. Jake Paul has eyeballs. Remember that. Skill, he's not. He's taking it seriously. Okay, I'll give him the credit. He's going in there. He's doing the work. But there's hundreds of guys his age are doing the work, okay? He's just built himself up an audience. So he can sell tickets, and he can sell pay-per-views. And for that reason, he is a draw, and you can't debate it. He's a draw. He is a heel. He loves playing the heel. And he has been able to create this firestorm around himself without much skill, okay? And now, after he goes 8 rounds and shows his productivity, his output, his skill level, his footwork, his hand speed, everything, conditioning, all of it, okay? It's all done, okay? Gig's up. Gig's up, okay? So the idea of Jake Paul being a professional fighter is over. Jake Paul being a sideshow is still very much there, but who's he fighting next now? You know, who's he fighting next? If he gets in the ring with a real boxer, he's done. Any one of those pro fighters, by the way, that were on that card would have destroyed Jake Paul. Any one of them. Name them. Even the guys that lost. Even the Italian dude that got knocked out in the first round, that dude beats Jake Paul. Okay? All of them beat Jake Paul. So, it is what it is. But that was on me. So the official record last night is 1-2. And it should have been 2-1. And we had a horrific beat that if Saturday didn't go so well, I would have been so angry, but Saturday went pretty well, so it turns into a 1-2 day. It's a losing day, but yikes. Raiders goes flying over with the 49ers. That was great, but the Hail Mary at the end. We've had like 4 Hail Marys here in this preseason. It's been kind of crazy, but that one, as far as I know, was the first one that flipped the dog to win. Down by 8 points. I don't know what the Patriots were doing. I shut it off. Patriots had the 2-minute warning. They had a first down, and then I shut it off because they took a knee. And I went, okay, that's good. Done deal. I don't know what happened. I don't know why they attempted that field goal. I just don't get it. Like, why in the world would you attempt that field goal? And I know the Patriots are having a field goal competition, but a 54-yard field goal in that spot almost felt like rubbing it in. I don't know. Like, the game's over. Like, just run around and kill the clock and be done with it, or just run the football and give it back to the Giants. Like, attempting the field goal, that Belichick's known for doing a bunch of like bleep you stuff. He scored bleep you touchdowns in the past, and I think it was like a bleep you field goal. Like, Joe Judge, you're still my understudy. I'm going to rub it in. And oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to do it under the guise of a kicking competition. It was weird to me. It was very, very strange that happened. So they turn the ball over, Hail Mary, Giants get it. It's always the Giants for me. It's always the Giants. Every decade. Once a decade, they get me. Eli Manning, ghost of Eli Manning somewhere. It's always the Giants with the Patriots. So unfortunately, the moneyline parlay, Yankees and Dodgers both lose. So I was the kiss of death for both those teams. I had a moneyline parlay at plus 152 on both those teams. So that missed. The moneyline parlay experiment ends at 10-6. No more of that. We're done with moneyline parlays. And so we're going to go into today here with a little bit of a plan. All right, so here's what I'm going to do today. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe even on Thursday, but I'm going to give you, Thursday is a full day of college football betting. And I mean a full day of college football betting. Each night, I'm going to give you a week 1 college football bet, okay? And I'm going to do it today. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to do a week 1 college football bet every single day this week. I'm going to give you a play that I like, okay? So we start the college football year 4-1. Should have been 5-0, but I should have just bet UTEP, and that's going to chat me, but I didn't do that. I bet the over, and it didn't hit. And so that makes me angry. So 4-1 on the podcast. So I'm going to give you a play today on a game Thursday. I'll give you a play tomorrow on a game on Thursday, and then Wednesday as well. And then I'll probably, depending upon how things go, get into Friday and Saturday, and we'll have a bunch of stuff going here in college football. There are games where I think the line's going to move, and so that's why I'm going to jump in on some of these plays just so we get the best of the lines, as the line doesn't move a ton. Lines have already moved a little bit, but I don't want to move a ton, so we'll do that coming up. And then I've got one baseball game to give you guys for a half a unit. So I only have a half unit going today. I'm not going to be overly committed. I'm just going to kind of, pick our spots here before we get into the big Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Labor Day weekend when there's just football all over the place. I can't wait, so I don't want to really get, too committed on baseball and on plays that I don't really, I don't like betting baseball. You guys know this, and obviously a bunch of you guys DM me and wrote me messages on the Discord channel saying, so that's why you were saying get to football. Yes, this is why I said let's get to football. Because I am much better at college and pro football betting than I am betting every day on baseball. The grind is just very tough and very difficult, and the variance is all over the place, and it's just hard, okay? So let's start with a football play happening on Thursday, okay? This game happening Thursday night. It is happening at Central Florida. It is UCF hosting Boise State. Gus Malzahn is now the coach of the Golden Knights. This is a guy who I think is going to do very, very well at this level. Leaving the Power 5, heading to UCF, where they went 6-4 last year. They're returning their quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, who is a stud. Absolute stud. Awesome deep ball thrower. This guy can throw a pretty pass, as pretty of a deep ball thrower in college football as there is. They returned 17 starters for Central Florida, and they get 3 really big Auburn transfers who have come with Gus Malzahn to Central Florida. Phil Steele is projecting that Central Florida is going to score 43.3 points per game this year, and I believe it. You got guys like Mark Anthony Richards, who's an Auburn running back transfer, Bentavious Thompson also back, a solid offensive line, bringing back the majority of the offensive line, and Gus Malzahn has been very happy with the depth he's got for the offensive line. UCF is 23-2 at home straight up over the last 4 years, and Gus Malzahn is 50-12 all-time in season openers as a head coach in college football. Now, Boise State lost their head coach, Brian Harsin, to Auburn, of all places, okay? 69 wins, leaves. Boise was 5-2 last year. New head coach Andy Avalos was the former defensive coordinator at Oregon. He coached and played at Boise State. Knows it well. Boise returned 17 starters. So it's not like they're going to be completely shocked about going out there and play on the road. And Boise very much might win the Mountain West Conference, but I'm not sure how much that's saying. Right now, this Boise State offense, not that explosive, not the same level of Boise State talent that you've seen in years past. That's why Brian Harsin left, okay? Harsin took a look at his roster and went, I got a sophomore quarterback and some unproven wide receivers and an okay running back. Yeah, Auburn, I'm leaving. And that's why he took the Auburn job kind of unexpectedly, but going from the Pacific Northwest down to the deep South. We'll see how he does at Auburn, but boy, oh boy, that was a shocking hire when he went down there. Boise is young at cornerback. It's their number one question mark on that defense going into the year, and that is really bad news against Central Florida. You cannot be weak in the secondary up against this team with the talent level that they've got. Boise's going to look to run the football and keep it away, but I like the defense well enough for Central Florida to really get after it. Boise has not played a ranked team on the road since 2018 when they lost to Okie State 44-21. Rocking atmosphere. I think Central Florida is going to be a really tough team to face this year, and they could be one of those sneaky teams that when you start looking at them and you're like, wow, what did they do? I like Central Florida. They're not ranked right now, but I think by the end of the year, they're going to be ranked. And I think they're going to be a tough team to face and a tough out. Central Florida, rockin' atmosphere, laying 4.5 points, lay 4.5. Some books are already at 5.5, okay? Find 4.5. Look around, search around, find 4.5. I think you can bet this up to 6. Don't go over 6. If you can't find, 4.5 or 5, 5.5's okay, but 6 is the absolute limit. I don't really love playing 6, but that's the absolute limit here that I would go with this game. It's an ESPN game. The bounce house is going to be rocking. First play, week 1, college football, Central Florida -4.5 against Boise State on the road, as I think they're going to be in for a tough road trip here to Central Florida in the heat of Florida in early September. Some guys, look at the games. Look what happened to UConn. When UConn went out west to take on Fresno State. Now, different situation, different team, I know, but 17 stars coming back is decent for Boise State, but new head coach, young quarterback on the road, tough environment. Gus Malzahn, I think, is going to do a really good job. First bet, -4.5, Central Florida up against Boise. Okay, only one bet going here. I might add in the Discord channel, I may have another game to bet on as the day unfolds. I may uncover some stuff and I may get involved. But there's only one game that I really like, only one number that I really like, and the Boston Red Sox are going on the road at the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays right now are 72, 53, and 5 to the over. That's 57.6% to the over. Now, the Red Sox have been okay. The over is only going, actually, they're 60, 69, and 3, 53% to the under. But going on the road to Tampa, the Rays score a lot of runs at home, and I'm not entirely in love with where the Red Sox are after losing to a Cleveland team yesterday. You've got Nick Pivetta up against Luis Patino here, 3-3, 4.53 for Patino, and you got 9-6, 4.57 for Nick Pivetta. Look, both these pitchers are going to get hit. Okay, this offense for the Rays can really, really score when you give them opportunities, when you aren't playing your best baseball, and the Red Sox are so up and down right now, but the Red Sox lineup can score. The total is 8.5. I was actually kind of surprised by that. Total being 8.5 here for these two teams, and it might be because the Red Sox, they don't feel like the Red Sox are going to score all that much, but I think both teams have the capability of scoring a bunch of runs. The Red Sox were scoring a bunch of runs up against Cleveland. I think they'll score a bunch of runs coming up here against Tampa. It's a 7:10 game. It's on ESPN, so you got some nationally televised games to get into. Last time these two teams played 8-1. The Red Sox scored 20 runs on the Rays. It was 20-8. The game before that, it was 8-4 the game before that. So 9 runs in the previous game, 28 runs before that, 12 runs before that, 3-2. 9-5, 7-3, 8-2, 9-5, 9-2, 6-5, 11-2. Okay? These teams aren't playing low-scoring games. Okay? They're not playing low-scoring games. It's a lot of runs. 8.5, we're going over 8.5 at -110 for Red Sox and the Rays. My guess is that number is going to climb here. Rays most likely win this game, but you can't sleep on the Red Sox offense with Rafael Devers, and JD Martinez is heating up in a big, big way. Red Sox can score 4. Tampa scores 5. We go over it. It's a 5-4 game, and we're good. Okay? Over 8.5 for a half a unit. Red Sox and the Rays here today. ESPN game, 7:10, first pitch Eastern time. Okay? That is a half a unit. I may come in with another baseball bet. I may have a couple of baseball props. I've been eyeballing strikeout props. I've been trying to do some research and trying to get my arms and hands and legs, everything around strikeout props. So I may come back with a couple of strikeout props for you guys today and kind of focus in on that a little bit as the year goes on. I think there's enough data that we really can kind of look at starting pitchers and look at strikeout props, and there's been some very interesting trends strikeout prop wise in terms of where pitchers have been and how pitchers who go up against certain lineups or in certain ballparks, what have happened. So there's some trends we may jump in here. We may have a couple of baseball props for you guys coming up today in the Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat, or underneath me here on YouTube to get in. Okay, first play on week 1 is Central Florida -4.5 against Boise. First play today, half a unit on the Red Sox and the Rays, over 8.5 for a half a unit at -110. My name is Matt Perrault. You can follow me on Twitter @SportsTalkMatt. Each and every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast right here on bettingpros.com. Always being brought to you by BetMGM.